I don't know, Starewire sounds more like a sci-fi movie to me, and apparently there is more to it. And we're about to find out from someone who is a master movie maker. So maybe Starwire is a movie. We're going to find out. This is the Swarm Unplugged podcast, where we get to know the Be Social community and encourage others to join us. With hundreds in the community, we want to get to know all of you better. From the newbie to the expert to the project partners, we will be learning who they are and how they can best benefit from Be Social. I'm Christopher Knight, so let's get started. This is going to be an action-packed episode of the Swarm Unplugged. We have so much we're about to throw your direction because it is all exciting to hear from someone who is not only a co-founder of a major company that is doing great things, but who has the skill of a movie maker that goes on forever as far as his credentials. And just to say a few, we're talking about credentials like director, and he has a writing and screenplay and story producer and film editor and production and crew and staff. And I mean, you go on forever, and he has those credentials, and he has the movies to prove it. But before we talk to him, let me bring on my co-host and a very special one. He is Tony K.
Hello, Christopher. How are we today?
Oh, are we at the Academy Awards today?
Well, apparently you're underdressed. I've obviously dressed for the occasion, and apparently you haven't.
I didn't get the memo, for God's sake. I did not get the memo, so I'm here. But you have you already walked the red carpet already? What?
Well. You can see I'm prepared, and I'm embarrassed that my host is not. But as usual, I'm going to carry the weight. I'll carry you through.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that.
Between Rick and I, we'll make you look as good as we possibly can. I'm just saying.
I always appreciate that. And what kind of stars have you seen there where you are now?
Well, the biggest star that I've ever actually been had the privilege of spending time with, and I hope that it's a brand new and hopefully a wonderful new relationship, because I'm kind of hoping I can star in some of the films, and he's actually backstage. So, I think we should...
No, wait. Before we do that, now, you straighten up your tie. Your bow tie is crooked, okay? Straighten up your tie. Look normal. I mean, look like it. There you go. Now you look like you belong. But before we even bring on our special guest, let's show a little bit of his work.
I'd love to see it.
Look, we've all been through the ringer here. Your family, my family.
I don't know how I would have done the last 6 months without you. The kids will see that too. When I was young, every camping trip I ever went on, I hated until the end, and then I never wanted to go home.
Dad, do you think the boys are going to be all right?
They'll be okay, Kyle. My boys are... I know them. They pretend to be all tough, but they're really soft on the inside.
This is amazing.
Hey, watch it. Getting too close to the edge.
I want to try. A broken quad 70 miles into the bush where the bears are?
Tom!
Help!
He's a diabetic. He's allergic to everything. He could die out there. Do you get it?
I get that, but why did you bring him up here then?
Well, unless we get a chopper in that sky right now, my kid's gonna die, so can we please just do something about it?
Dies?
We probably put the kibosh on this new family deal.
Wow.
Written, produced, directed. The only thing he didn't do is probably hold the camera most of the time because he had to be on the other side as an actor. I don't know how many things one person can do to make a wonderful movie. So, wow. Tony, why don't we bring our special guest in? Garnet Campbell. There you are, Garnet. I tell you what, you're a star, my friend. You're a star.
Hey, you didn't tell me I needed to wear a tux.
Well, I figured this is going to be, Oscar. I mean, for me, this is as close to the Oscars as I'm going to be near you, Garnet. So I figured the least I should do is dress for the occasion. I apologize for my host, but what can I say?
Yeah.
I love it. It's just got me in the mood for. Yeah, let's do.
Are you ready? Are you ready to walk the red carpet, Garnet?
100%. Let's do
100%.
Garnet, that film that we just saw. Wow, what a. I see stuff like that, and then I want to go and crawl in the corner because I make an attempt of trying to have fun and do some things, and then I see that, and I'm like, oh man, that's just I might as well just hang it up right now. So then the next thing I think of is, well, how can I do better? And I thought, well, I heard that you actually you help people do that, so that there's a possibility that if I come to Vancouver, I might be able to sign up for some of these classes because apparently you help people in the distress situation that I'm in. So tell me about
that. Well, exactly. Filmmaking is not for the elites. It's for anybody who's got creative imagination and a story to tell. And you guys, I know you guys have tons of stories. And I mean, we're on a show right now that you guys created. So there you go. Yeah. We do have a school here in Vancouver called the Delta Film Academy. Mm-hmm. And it's been going for 10 years. Wow. And normally the idea was to start, there was an opportunity with the high schools where they invited us in to do some workshops, and that turned into actually a full-time school, a part of the Delta School District curriculum where kids can study filmmaking, film production, film acting, and visual effects. And that's actually part of their school.
Wow.
So,
wow. So how old are these kids? How old are they going?
Yeah, they're from grade 8 to 12. So
wow.
13 to 18.
So I got to ask you a question. With all the people over the 10 years, you must see some of these kids and say, you know what, this one's going to be a star. I mean, you have to see that. Have you ever seen any of them that have done that?
Yeah, I mean, it's more common than you think, we have maybe 50 kids in our film production program, maybe 50 in the visual effects, 50 going through the acting academy in a year. And because Vancouver is what they refer to it as Hollywood North. So there is a lot of productions going on here, but it's very common to see our kids in the next some of the American TV series. We just had 2 kids show up in what's the one about the Archie and Veronica? What's that new show called? It's on Netflix. The modern version.
Well, everyone's going to be looking for it now.
The old comic book. I don't know why can't I get this?
Well, the reason why I asked you that, because there's a hidden agenda.
Oh no.
Yeah, Chris. I figured, because I talked to Chris briefly about this, and he probably doesn't remember because he's got short-term memory loss, which is a sad thing that's for another show. But I said to him, hey, do you think that there's a possibility that Garnet's going to see a star in me, and Garnet might just think, if I treat Garnet like the producer and the director and the wonderful filmmaker he is, if I dress right and I say the right words, do you think there's any possibility that I got a chance here? And he clicked, he hung up on me. He was laughing profusely, and then he hung up. And so I'm just going to leave it to you. I'm not going to depend on what Chris says, because apparently if I was to hold my future in his hands, it would be doomed. So, so I'm kind of here on it. This is almost like me giving you my a preview of what
your resume. Are you kidding me? All he has to do is get to know you, and he's going to wax you out in a heartbeat.
I can only try. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, that's all right. Well,
I'm liking what I see so far. There's some potential. Yep.
If you need a British accent, then maybe he's the one. But if you want talent, wrong field to look at.
It's interesting you said that, Chris, about English accent, because apparently Garnet spent quite a bit of time in my home country near Gatwick Airport, in a place I think he said Crawley. So he actually went to school there and spent some time there. So he's almost like a native. We're almost like family, Garnet. So it's like you taking me on. It's going to be like your family member. You can't turn down your family. Come on.
Yeah, let's hear a little bit about your London days.
The London days, yes, good old. Actually, part of the story is out of all the countries I've been through, the UK was the only one that I ever got deported from. Yeah, so I've got that to be proud of. I originally.
All right, stop. What did you do to get deported? You can't just pass over that, okay? Sorry.
Yeah, really.
But I got deported, but I got brought back into the country with a special letter from the Undersecretary of State, Lord Ulswater. So even though I got kicked out because of some bureaucratic thing, it took the great nephew of Winston Churchill to help me get back in. So that's kind of a story. Yeah. The
great nephew of Winston. For real? Are you serious right now?
So originally I came to the UK as a sound man, right? I was doing sound for a music group called Living Sound, and they were based. They had a little rehearsal studio in Cobham. I'm not sure. Cobham, is that in Sussex?
Cobham, yeah, Cobham, yeah, Sussex. Yeah, Cobham, yeah.
And so I'd been in and out of the UK for several years on, I don't know, I guess they call it just a visitor's visa, because we were based in the UK, but they'd tour into Europe and Eastern Europe and different places. And we actually started when that tour with that music group ended. We had a multimedia show called Be Excellent, and we wanted to tour with this shows into the secondary schools in the UK. I'm not sure, what do they call it? Secondary school? Do they call it secondary schools?
Yeah, we got infants, juniors, and seniors. So it's the junior school you're referring to right now. So
yeah. So we had this. It was a kind of an inspirational show that would encourage people. Sort of dealt with self-esteem issues that kids had. Kind of touching a little bit on kind of saying no to drugs, stuff like this, and it was featuring sort of top 40 music, and it had all these movie clips in it from the latest movies. It was like about a 40-minute show, and we'd bring it into schools. We had it was sort of a surround sound, surround screen. We had 3 15-foot wide screens, so it, was massive, and we'd set it up in these high schools. And Pepsi and Britvic, their bottlers are in the UK. They were sponsoring this show, and I think we had actually had it reviewed by Her Majesty's School Inspectorate or something like this. And she looked at our program, and it was awesome. Like, everyone was giving the thumbs up to this. Like, we had corporate support. We had, the Queen's support. And, at this time I realized, okay, we're going to be touring with this show for the next couple of years. It was time to get my business visa, in order, because I'd kind of just been visiting as a guest, through all these times.
Sure.
So that proposal was in a state of almost complete or something like this. And the embassy in Canada said, well, just go and, we'll sort it out when you get there or whatever, something like this. They said, just get on the plane and, we'll work it out. Well, of course, that didn't work out. And to the bureaucratic side, they were looking at this paperwork sort of like, okay, no, you're going home. You're going, back to Canada until we can get this sorted out. And so, okay, so that was the sort of official deportation. Now, I had my whole touring team was already there. They got in from different parts of the States, different parts of Canada. And I had to go back, and I said, okay, well, this will be a couple weeks and we'll work it out. But week turned into week, and it was just not getting anywhere. And even, from Pepsi's team, they had their public relations agency, Hill and Knowlton. They were trying to get progress on it. And in the end, it was some friends in a local church in Crawley. Their MP was a guy named Nicholas Soames. And Nicholas Soames, he was the connection to Winston Churchill. He was a descendant. I don't know if it was how he was related. I have to Google that now again.
Wow.
But in the end, Nicholas Soames, he made some calls. And the bureaucratic quagmire was so thick, it went right up to the Undersecretary of State, and they just said, hey, this guy's trying to do something good in our country. Let him in. So finally I got greenlit, and I was back in the country. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were. What you should have done was called me. See, we're practically family, as you know. I mean, so next time, if that ever happens again, I expect a phone call so that, we can
you
take care of business.
You're like this, 007, Tony.
Hey, how you doing?
That was Garnet. Wow.
Yeah.
You've been around. You've been around a lot of stars.
Wait, play that again.
Hey, how you doing?
Now you obviously, that was before you shaved your head. And Chris, what do you think? I mean, what's this?
Well, when you start losing your hair, you got to do something. So it's just a matter of time before you and I lose our hair. But he's much younger than us, so go figure, right? Now I think there's something.
Right there, he almost had a mullet. He was losing his hair.
Yeah, he had hair. He had hair again. Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been, 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
He was holding on to his hair there. Do you see how it was receded, right?
Yeah.
I knew I was going to be abused by these Tony videos in some kind of way. I knew it.
To break free. I want to break free. I want to break free from your lies. You're so self-satisfied. I don't need you.
What movie is that shot? What movie is that shot
Mr.
from?
and Mrs. Jones. He must remember that, Garnet. That was where you were trying to get you were possibly looking at some, I don't know, little bit of counseling there. That's why that it said that. I don't know how did Rick get that clip?
I don't know. It's just all it says is I want to be free, and when you're at counseling and you say I want to be free, I guess the counselor understands, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Brad is free now, I guess.
I want to go straight from there to you're telling us about your wonderful children. Would you do that for me?
Yeah, I got 4 kids, ages 11 to 17, and they are pretty amazing. What can I say? The 2 oldest girls. I'm glad we had them in that particular order because, the boys, boys will be boys. They're kind of following in my footsteps. As a young guy growing up in Saskatchewan, I would like to, was very experimental, got into a lot of trouble. And the girls, they're amazing. They probably take more after their mother. The boys, they can get up to some adventures. That's for sure.
Yeah, you better look over your shoulder there. I mean, you better be careful because I'm pretty sure they're hanging around.
Yeah, no, and the boys, they're hardcore gamers and they're into computers, so they're, and of course, being exposed to the crypto world, they're pretty tuned in to digital currencies and they know what's going on.
They're hardwired. That's part of their DNA as children. I mean, my 17-and-a-half-year-old, or almost 18 now, they're hardwired. It's something that they get from the hospital. I think it's something in those injections that they give them because they're naturals. But you're very strong in your faith, and you're very strong in your family, and of course you've got an incredible story about all the different film things that you've done and everything. It's just
and in bringing that up, Tony, it's always interesting to know. You have made a number of films, and you always know the question, right? What was the film that had the biggest impact on you once it was done?
I mean, I think the films tend to impact you in the moments that you're preparing for them, and then the friendships that you make while you're making the film. So the film that we looked at the very beginning there, Lost Wilderness, that definitely was a moment that brought a lot of new relationships into my life. That would be a big one. And then going back to another film that kind of a student of mine made, we had a little boot camp. It was like a 3-week boot camp, and that the student came back and said, "Hey, Garnet, I want to make a film." I'm like, "Great, yeah, that's what we're here for. You get out there, you make that 3-minute short film, and let me know how it goes." Like, "No, I want to do a feature film." And I said, "Well, you might want to start small and then build up big." He's like, no, we're going for it next month, and you can either help me or not. So I helped him. That film was called "They Came from the Attic," and that film was fairly influential because it basically kickstarted his career. Now, 13 films later, I'm still doing films with him.
Wow.
And next month is the start of another film with him. So that, and even though that wasn't my film, I sort of was a helper on it, a producer on it, but that film kind of influenced my life in a big way, just because it set me on course to sort of a partnership with that filmmaker in helping him. And it affects me still. We got plans next month for another film, and it's funny. Jason started out as a hardcore horror film guy, and went horror film, and it's not necessarily my genre, but I'm like, hey, I'm here to help you, so let's do this. But as soon as he had kids, now he's got 2 little kids, so that began kind of a change, in his mentality. Now he was a father, and different story ideas started coming to him. And The Key to Christmas was one of his first family films that he did.
Wow.
And it was, it ended up getting distribution globally. But the purpose of it, he really was making it just for his daughter. He just wanted to have a film that was kind of about a story they used to share together, and he started that project. And in the end, when the film distributor sort of was looking at some of the rough cuts, they're like, actually, we realize this is a little lower budget, but it's actually got heart. Like, we want this film. So
wow. So
that ended up getting distributed, and it was kind of more of a love project than.
Well, you have that actor look. Have you? How many times have you been invited actually to act in other people's movies?
I really don't like. See, I don't. A lot of people don't like seeing themselves on camera. It's like I'm kind of that way. I don't really see myself as that actor. And actually, I did play a role in that movie, Lost Wilderness, because the guy who was supposed to play the park ranger never showed up, and I knew how his character was supposed to be played, and everyone's like, "Garnet, you do it." Wes, my co-director, they kind of forced me to do that role, and it ended up. I ended up actually pulling off a good line in the role.
But that's not the only one, Chris. I think he's been in quite a.
Oh yeah, he's got a whole series of things. My gosh, yeah.
That's what I found out.
That was the setup.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what you mean.
You have no idea, Garnet. Let's go.
Huh. Let's see.
Yes.
A true star. Garnet, you are a star, my friend.
Yep.
Wow,
Yep.
look at that. Huh?
No denying it. Right there, the proof is right there on film.
I love the Gary Oldman shots there. He is one of my favorite actors.
I don't know what you're talking about, Garnet. I have no idea what you're referring to. All I saw was Garnet. That's all I saw.
For some of the viewers there, I told Tony that one of my favorite actors was Gary Oldman. And for those of you not familiar with his work, if you Google him on IMDb and his role in Leon the Professional, that was amazing. That's one of the classic acting jobs. That guy can transform himself into so many different characters, as I can as well, as you saw in my work there.
Yes, as we saw it, as we saw in that video right there. All that transformation. Yes, my goodness.
I like myself as the blonde. That was really good. I don't know who that was. I have to get a blonde wig.
Well, I that you have told us that you had some strange experiences out in your movie making days, and actually had some people arrested while you were doing a movie. What is that all about?
Yeah, that's a little bit of on the embarrassing side of when learning in life is making mistakes, right? And if you haven't really screwed up a couple times in your life, then you're not completing the journey in the right way. And this was definitely one of my not proudest sort of moments to end up getting your film crew arrested. Yeah. So yeah.
Maybe I don't want to be in one of your films.
No. That's true. No, this story began, I'm not sure what the year was, but Steven Spielberg was doing a reality show. I'm trying to remember. It was called On the Lot. And the idea was he was asking for submissions of short films, around the globe. And if your short film was chosen, then you had a chance to, progress further on the show and a chance to win $1 million, right? $1 million, right? So, everyone around the globe was excited about this new Steven Spielberg show. And I think one of the co-hosts was Princess Leia. What's her name? Carrie. Come on, people. Christopher.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's what you have Google. All I heard was $1 million. That's all I heard.
So anyway, there's a contest. So of course I want to be in this contest, right?
And $1 million.
Yes. I want that $1 million. And I was sitting in my office at the time, and I was staring out the window, and I'm just looking at this little bagel shop across the road from us. And I'm thinking, that could be a good place to shoot a movie, right? And then I'm thinking a short film. And then I'm thinking, okay, what would be the weirdest thing that could happen? Any good story needs some complications and some kind of conflict. And, your brain just starts going, well, I guess, if, some kid could choke on a milkshake if they screwed up his order and put peanuts in it and he was allergic to peanuts. I'm like, that's pretty good. Yep. So we'll put that in the story. Maybe the guy just broke up with his girlfriend who runs this place. And the girlfriend had drugs hidden in his house, but she can't get into the house because, he changed the key, but her drug dealer needs that key, and he just cut her finger off, and he's going to cut another one off if she doesn't go into that store and get that key, So this story starts to formulate, right? And
I like it.
In the end, this girl, she's going to get arrested. The movie's going to end with the police storming in, and she's going to have her hands tied behind her back. And the moral of she ended up, I think, saving the kid, right? She had to choose between, running away or saving this kid who's going into anaphylactic shock. And she saves the kid and kind of sacrifices herself, and gets arrested. So anyway, this is all in my brain, and this is I guess a message, behind this story is, the power that each of us have, whether you guys are watching this show and you're like, I have ideas as well. I've always had this creative idea. Either it's for a business or a movie or a TikTok video or something like this. There's a power that once you engage your imagination, it sets things in motion, right? And little did I know, how powerful a creative idea can be, but also like you got to be careful. They can be dangerous as well, depending, what your idea. Because like I say, it sets things into motion. So from there, a script, it goes on to the next stage. When you have a vision, you write it down, and once it's written down, it's starting to move other people, take shape. You guys have a lot of interviews, people on here who have projects, and the more those ideas, start to take shape, it starts changing things, even around the globe. I watched your guys' show the other day, about the Ecuador, and, the vision of M2 token started out just as an idea at one point, and then it starts to manifest itself, in places, and it starts changing things for real. Anyway.
Well, Garnet, you're the ultimate filmmaker. You do it. You keep the cameras rolling, irregardless of the situation. And apparently, on that film that we were talking about, something happened. Obviously, drastically.
Okay.
Yes. You kept the cameras rolling, didn't you? Right.
Okay. What happened was it came the day for the show for us to shoot. And actually, I would say this, in my own defense, the police had been forewarned that we were going to be shooting.
Okay, right. Now just don't. I want to hear the excuses. Let's not hear the excuses.
Okay.
I will admit let's show the proof of the process right now. Rick,
before you play that, no. Before you play that, okay. What we were doing, the owner came to us, gave us the keys to the bagel shop ahead of time. And that was the night before the production. So we thought, okay, this is great. Let's go over and do what we call blocking out the scene, right? So we're just going over where everybody's going to stand, their positions and stuff like this. So we went over to the store, opened the door. It was all closed. It was nighttime. It was very dark around there. We had the actors there, and we were blocking out the scenes, just finding out where everyone's going to stand. Now, what we didn't realize is someone had seen us acting this out and called the police. And of course, that kicked in, the protocol of, okay, the police are going to, it looked like a robbery in progress, right? Even though we were acting this out. And at one point I went outside just to look in, to look in at the view. And I looked up and I saw this helicopter, flying above the place. I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. I mean, went back inside and the phone started, ringing inside, and I thought, who's going to be ordering a bagel at 8 p.m.? And this phone was going. Now this was like protocol, right, for handling, a hostage situation. And when I finally got so frustrated, I picked up the phone. I'm like, look, the bagel store is closed. And at that point I heard, this is the police. We have the place surrounded. And I'm like, oops, right. And yeah, that's when I realized a mistake, had been made. And, there was a number of protocol they had to do at that point, even though I told them, we're just rehearsing a film. I ended up turning on this little camcorder because I knew this was all going to play out. And so I sort of ended up recording that whole arrest that ended up taking place. So the clip that you're about to see ended up being on the news.
Well, at least you weren't deported from your own country, right?
No. Well, the funniest thing is my kids, whenever they see this, because they call me on the news channel, they call me an amateur filmmaker, and my kids always say, "Yeah, Dad, you're an amateur filmmaker." So they never let me do that.
Tony, do you realize what just happened right then? Garnet was covering his rear right then on about what we were about to see. And we don't know the truth, actually. Besides, I guess we can take his word for it. You think we can take his word for it?
He pulled his director card out and gave you a timeout. Is what he did.
No, yeah. And so here Rick, can we roll that royal footage?
Let's see the truth.
People passing by a deli in Tawasin over the weekend were stunned to see an act of violence taking place inside. They saw a gun and a boy on the floor, and they quickly called the police. And then what unfolded took everyone by surprise.
Oh, someone call 911. Nobody's calling anybody. Nobody's going anywhere. My son can't breathe. He needs medical attention.
It's rehearsal footage from an amateur movie called The Key to Life, a Quentin Tarantino Pulp Fiction type movie that involves a hostage-taking scene. 5 actors, including a 10-year-old boy seen laying on the floor, took part in a rehearsal for the film inside a Tawasin deli last Friday night.
Make a copy. I don't have the key. I don't have the key.
This is a story. A young woman gets herself in trouble, starts making bad decisions, gets involved in organized crime. And this story is her trying to fix a bunch of problems that she's created for herself and ends up creating a hostage situation in a local deli.
The Tawasin amateur filmmaker plans to enter his film in Steven Spielberg and Mark Burnett's On the Lot competition for a chance at a $1 million prize. The actors were so preoccupied with their scene, they had no idea what was happening outside.
On one occasion, I went outside to shoot in through the window, and I saw a helicopter circling around the place. And, you see helicopters from now and then. I knew it was a police helicopter. But there was this thought in the back of my mind that the man in the helicopter is looking at me. And I dismissed that thought and just ran back inside the building.
It turns out Air One was looking at Campbell, and so was the SWAT team that now surrounded the building. It turns out several passers-by thought there was an actual robbery or hostage-taking and called 911. The actors were called out one by one.
Who, me?
I saw 5 or 6, I think, police cars, but I knew someone said there was 6, and I didn't see the helicopter, but we could hear it. And I saw lots of policemen with, some of them had like shotguns and guns.
Sorry, don't move everyone. Okay. Where's this plastic gun? No, I'll keep them up. Where's the plastic gun?
Once police learned they were making a film, they still wanted to check out the actor's prop gun, and police let them all off with a stern warning.
Obviously, it's a serious wake-up call for amateur filmmakers. Next time, we will call the police, and as well anyone else out there. Phone the police when you're even rehearsing violent scenes with guns or movies. Yes.
Wow.
That is absolutely amazing.
That's
Oh, wow.
priceless. That's priceless.
This is not walking the red carpet. This is walking the plank in the process.
Yeah, that's getting the handcuffs for real.
Wow.
Yeah, it was funny. One of the actors, her grandpa had dropped her off for the rehearsal, and he was sitting next door in Dairy Queen, and all these SWAT team people started coming, setting up, surrounding the place, and everyone in Dairy Queen was like, "Oh my goodness, like what's going on?" He's like, "Don't worry, it's all part of the movie, it's like they're rehearsing for the movie." It's like, yeah. So he wasn't, he wasn't worried at all.
Garnet, you have provided us with a great delight today. And as we come to the end of this particular episode of The Swarm Unplugged, I want to tell you how much we've enjoyed this. I know that, of course, Starewire is also a part of what you do, but we wanted to concentrate on Garnet Campbell himself. And I think people will appreciate that because they like to know the people behind what they may or may not put their money into. And I think they will see that you are a very, very special person that has a very special talent, and they can have the confidence to know that you are there and behind what you're offering in the bees community. So thank you for sharing your story with us today and some interesting little tidbits. Very much. Thank you, Garnet.
Thank you for the kind words, Chris.
Garnet, as usual, it's very rare that I don't get to say this. And I got to tell you, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You are absolutely epic. And what you have shared and what else you haven't shared yet is something that we really, really want to get to. So I'm going to do what I normally do. I'm going to ask you if you'll grace us with your presence again, because we want a second episode of this. We want a series. So would you be willing to grace us with your presence in the near future?
For sure, because we didn't even get to what happened with the bear that we hired for Lost Wilderness.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's another whole episode right there. Okay.
I made mistakes with the SWAT team. Yeah, your audience is gonna love when they hear what happened when you give me a live grizzly bear. Go wrong.
Yeah, right. Garnet,
I can't wait. I can't.
The very best to not only your work, but the growth of Starewire. And as you know, I am a big fan, and have been since the very beginning. So my wishes are for your success. Thank you for being here.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Garnet.
Tony, this is interesting in the regards that I have never seen you dress this well in my entire life that we've been together. The last time I saw you, you were in a fishnet muscle shirt, and so now that you've dressed up, and
let's call it the way it is. Okay.
Yeah.
You missed it by a long shot.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was prepared. I came on time.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Well, yeah, you did. And like I say, since I didn't get the memo, I should have been prepared for this movie making epic episode, and I just didn't do it. Tony, thank you for being here. You're always a delight. I love you. So we'll talk soon. Okay, buddy.
Thank you.
There is so much when you look at people that we are able to bring on and enjoy. Garnet is certainly one of those special people. Wow, some of the experience that he has, and wow, what talent. My goodness gracious, what a talent he has for putting things together and putting them on film and making them actually stand out and be real. I mean, literally look like and be and feel that they're real and part of, and bring it into your life. It is totally amazing. I want to thank, of course, for Garnet Campbell for being a guest today. I would like to recognize, of course, our inevitable co-host, Tony K, and our technical director, Rick Scherer, Rick, whatever the name is. Anyway, Rick, it's always good to have you. We appreciate you on all that you do. And right now, we want to ask everybody to join us next Tuesday for another episode of the Swarm Unplugged. Always remember to listen, learn, and give. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Swarm Unplugged podcast. Be sure to hit the follow button and leave us a glowing comment. Gravitate yourself to be on the podcast so you are the next one to introduce themselves to the Be Social community. See you on the next episode.